This is another video from our good friend Case Study QB. So this has to deal with the primaries that are happening today. So Gunner, Captain is giving a direct order to his tech priest Engine Seer. Play that video from our good friend Case Study QB. In fact, it's two videos.
Does
So
QB stand for quarterback?
maybe.
Yeah. Is that like a reference to Q?
Kentucky in a major test for the progressive movement. Democratic Socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in New York, Virginia, and Kentucky in a major test for the progressive movement. Democratic Socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will face off against a slew of moderate Democrats hoping to steer the party back toward the center.
So could today's results hint at what we will see in November? Political analyst Teslyn Figaro joins us now with her thoughts. Teslyn, thanks so much for being here. I mean, that is the question. How much insight can we glean from tonight when it comes to the November election on the whole and whether Biden makes a move left?
Yeah, I think AOC's election has nothing to do with the progressive movement. You have to remember she came in challenging Nancy Pelosi and ended up calling her mama bear. So she has changed on a few of her positions, or at least how she advocates to get things done in the House. And the progressive movement, certainly in November, most progressives will not be changing on their platform. If Senator Bernie Sanders cannot get progressives to move towards Biden, certainly AOC cannot. They are serious about the platform of Medicare for All, $15 an hour. They are serious about the Green New Deal and all of the things that they push, and we have yet to hear what this alleged task force board has came up with to meet some of those progressives in the middle. So until that happens and Biden is able to adopt the policies that are important to progressives, I just don't see them moving, just to be quite honest.
Well, let's take a look at the statement here from Bernie Sanders. This is to the New Yorker on pushing Joe Biden to go left, and this says, quote, "If you are unhappy with Biden's politics, if you disagree with Biden's politics, and I certainly do, then the fight has got to take place starting today to make sure that he moves in as progressive a way as possible, that his administration is as progressive as possible." Teslyn, do you think that the country is ready for that much of a move to the left?
Well, the country, well, at least what they say allegedly, most of the folks in the country are moderate and do lean towards the center. But the thing that Bernie Sanders forgot is the fight started a long time ago. You know, he pumped up these individuals 4 years ago to say that this was indeed a revolution. So a lot of progressive supporters feel that Bernie Sanders folded, just to be quite honest with you. And so with him saying, oh, yeah, now it's time to make Biden move to the left, it doesn't work that way. Biden won based upon his center moderate beliefs. So why would he move to the left?
All right, let's play that second video.
Has no motivation to do so. Bernie Sanders has already endorsed him and gave him the entire movement. So progressives will be standing firm in November, and I think people are going to be disappointed to see that they won't be moving over.
So then to that note, what do you think the far left of the party doesn't see then about, as you just referenced, most of the country being more moderate?
What they don't see is they don't see health care. They don't see, especially right now with COVID going on, they don't see the wages being a livable wage. They don't see all of the things, the dream that Bernie Sanders sold them. Even Dr. West went on record a couple of weeks ago to say that he was totally fine with with Bernie Sanders being friends with Biden, but he says that Biden is still Joe Biden. So they will not be getting behind this candidate no matter what. Even those who don't like Trump or like his leadership, they are serious about these policies, and I don't see them moving. You have a fraction of folks who just want to vote against Trump, period, no matter who it is, even if it's a purple squirrel. But most of the folks in the progressive movement that I've met over the last 5 or 6 years is serious about their policy and find themselves very disappointed in Senator Sanders, and I don't see them budging. They'll just rather wait till 2024 until they can get a progressive candidate that can stand a little bit firmer.
All right, so here's a couple commentaries that I want to leave on this. So today's a New York primary, and in Kentucky, one polling station is supposed to be taking care of, 600,000 people. The whole idea of the progressive movement actually trying to make an impact in this country right now, it's being suppressed by the DNC and corporate media. Remember, the DNC committed election fraud. It's the DNC that decided to shut down polling stations. It's the DNC that decided to get rid of paper ballots. It's the DNC that decided to invest into, let's like Georgia, for example, investing into polling machines that cost $100 million and still don't work. And now we're seeing the same thing get repeated in Kentucky, Virginia, and New York. So come the general election, Why would a normal, sane person, especially those who are progressives and independents that are supposed to go with Biden, why would any person subject themselves to that abuse of waiting 7 or 8 or 10 hours just to vote when the candidate that's supposed to bring in change or be the person to beat Trump refuses to acknowledge Medicare for all, student debt forgiveness, investing into infrastructure, dealing with climate change, investing into green technologies, ending regime change wars, actually defunding the police, and doing so much more. But you see, this is Joe Biden. He doesn't care. And Joe Biden has said not once, not twice, but 3 times in 3 different interviews that he would not support Medicare for all. He has no empathy for millennials. He's now only trying now to reach out to Latinos. He's only trying now to do a social media outreach. He's only trying now to reach out to grassroots supporters. He's only doing it now. And for me, I like strengths. I like leadership. I like confidence. I had hope for Bernie Sanders during this primary. Turns out, we got to still wait. But the thing is that what a lot of pundits need to realize is that, yeah, there's people of different backgrounds, not only just progressives or independents, but yeah, there are moderates and centrists and left-leaning and right-leaning people. But overall, with COVID-19, this economic depression that we are in, the threat of climate change, these are real issues we have to address. And we don't need somebody who's going to call on a task force to figure out how to really address it. No, we should have been addressing this years and years ago. But the thing is, with Biden and really how this primary is all playing out, he better go. He better hope that maybe people want to consider voting for him. But the way people are being treated at the polling station, the way people are being treated in regards to their vote, no one's going to subjugate themselves to somebody who doesn't care about them. No one's going to vote for somebody if they say, "I don't care. I'm just better than the orange man." We have to live in a world where we truly have election integrity, and somebody like Joe Biden. Obviously is going to suffer more because these primaries reflect him. Because remember, it's the Democrats that are having primaries. The Republicans, they're not.
Yeah, this is, let's put it this way in a couple different ways. If you have a good campaign and everything's hunky-dory and you have everything worked out, probably doesn't look like you're running out of money. Probably doesn't look like at the last minute you're trying to get grassroots donations put together. Probably doesn't look like, oh, crap, we probably got to get those millennials. Maybe, never mind. Maybe recently start working on Latinos. Don't change any of your policy. It is insane that we live in a world where we have a pandemic, we have a depression that hasn't even neither fully gone their true paths, and we have a whole racial, economic justice, political movement akin to the 60s happening. And in any other presidential race ever to take place in America, we would already know who won the race. It would have been obvious. If Bernie Sanders had won the nomination right now, it would have been obvious who is going to win the general election. It would have been obvious at any other point in time in history. The fact that people are still like, well, Biden's up by a little bit. Oh, it's pretty good. Look at that. That's pretty nice. He's up 10 points in those contexts. And we know, because it's of what it's about, that it's not going to last. Trump has kept his powder dry as much as Trump can keep powder dry. Most of it, I suppose. Not just anyway. Biden is still hiding in his bunker. Imagine what Trump's going to come out with once the nomination process is finished. Imagine. And it's so crazy, as always, that point that was made by their correspondent about progressives, besides, of course, the Fox News, well, most of the countries moderate, blah, blah, blah. Besides that part, pretty spot-on analysis. And she's right. A lot of people are just going to wait, for the most part, until 2024 for something to happen because they already have a guy who said that he's not into you.
Yep.
So, Joe Biden, the fact that you haven't clenched this already shows how terrible of a candidate you are. This should have been a slam dunk.
Yeah, and fear doesn't work because that didn't work for Hillary. And, I'm going to say it. It's 50-50. Voter turnout is key. Yeah, Biden can win the popular vote, but the key thing is, can he win the Electoral College? Because the Electoral College supersedes the popular vote in this country because we have an antiquated slave system in regards to how we elect the president of the United States.
Yeah, to go back to the other piece, I would say that neoliberalism, the type of liberalism that came after the 70s that they purport, is what Bernie was writing again. Really, this is their failure. They're supposed to draw a distinction between them and Hitler, basically. We've been running against Hitler. with Trump. Is he really Hitler? I think that, if he could be, he would be, but he just kind of likes the idea and he doesn't actually put work into it. So he's kind of like a carnivore.
He's a lazy Hitler.
He's a lazy Hitler, but he is unpredictable because he's
we
a
just coined that lazy Hitler.
He's a lazy Hitler. He's a lazy ass Hitler, like a lazy Nazi. That's literally Trump. That's the joke that he's playing on all of us. I am a Nazi. I'm just kind of lazy about it.
I was following orders.
I was just doing what I
I
was.
would have done the orders, but I
It
fell
just seemed
asleep.
more
Yeah.
organized this way. But Biden can't make a distinction between him and Trump. It will literally come down to who's maybe less of a pedophile in October. That's really what and that neoliberalism can't distinguish itself from genocidal authoritarianism, that it's having a hard time. And the best thing that they can do is that, well, this guy's kind of dumb looking and he's incompetent. And then you got Biden, to compare. This is a huge failure on Bill Clinton's politics, on Obama's legacy. If Biden is Obama's best bet to, save your legacy, you're fucked. Because,
it's like the Taj Mahal.
yeah, it's just like
Oh my God,
Mitt Romney's out there protesting with Black Lives Matters protesters, and he's like the new Democratic leader. He's going to take it right out of the Clintons' hands.
I forgot that he did that too.
Yeah,
that Mitt Romney did that of all people. But there's also
it's that
not
easy.
but
neoliberalism.
But here's the thing. Before we do move on to our next story, Mona Carmona actually gave us a super chat in regards to this story, and it's pretty on point. $24.99 super chat. Can anyone name Biden's policies? No, I can't. Not really, because he's not for Medicare
War
for all.
with Venezuela.
No, I can name one. I'm not Trump.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it says I'll beat Trump like a
think
drum,
he's lying
but that's
about
it,
that.
literally. So here's the thing about Biden. And I just want to leave this as the final note for this story. Joe Biden and his campaign are struggling right now. And see, the thing is, if Biden's campaign was smart, they would be screaming from the rooftop, demanding that these primaries are more accessible to voters. If Biden actually fought for voters and his supporters, then you know what? Maybe his chances are greater. And of course, right now, polls are showing Biden in the lead. But I remember in 2016 when everyone was saying the exact same thing about Hillary Clinton. See, the thing is, people don't like being yelled at. People don't like being abused. People don't like having their vote taken for granted. And Joe Biden is farting around this country thinking he has this election in the bag. Let me tell you something right now. This neoliberal, neoconservative government that we have, Donald Trump knew how to beat it in 2016. And there's a very good possibility that he could beat it again. Now, again, the key thing that everyone needs to remember is that Biden supporters, especially to the vote blue no matter who people, you got to do a voter turnout. You got to convince people. And these 3 debates that are going to happen in September, October, those 2 in October, if Biden is not able to hit a home run, people perceive strengths. Perception drives reality. And if no one can get confidence enough to follow Joe Biden and everyone's hoping that his VP will be a savior, you're living in a fantasy world and everyone's going to be having a meltdown in November. Now, I'm going to use my brain and vote third party. So obviously the establishment doesn't care about me, so there we go. But the very fact you have voters right now in Kentucky waiting in long lines right now and Biden being silent about it says a lot about his chances in November. Yeah. We need to step up and push forward. But obviously we're not going to get it from Biden. And, good luck, establishment, because you guys are going to be crying. And even if your guy does win, remember, people will be looking at you. What are you going to do for us now that the orange boogeyman's gone?